I remember, many moons ago, thinking 1,000,000 credits was a lot. Boy was I wrong. We all need credits at every stage of the game. I'm going to give you the best options to make that money fast, with the key things you need to know about each method. I'm the Kengineer, let's solve a practical problem. Just a quick note, the following rates I suggest for these different methods are all empirical. I've gone out and done it myself to get these values, but yours will be different. You're not me. You play with different frames, different weapons, different amounts of sleep, so your results will vary. What shouldn't vary too much is the comparison. Where one option is better than another for me, the chances are it's better for you too. Of the ordinary Star Shot missions, few have remotely reasonable credit payouts. The Dark Sector missions do actually give some fair credits for doing the mission, though it doesn't scale with long runs. This means you want to run the mission as fast as possible, and the most suitable Dark Sector mission for that is excavation. You can find this on both Earth and Pluto. Earth's mission Tikal pays around 16 to 18,000 credits, whilst Pluto's Hyricon mission pays 28 to 32,000. Both of these can be done in about 3 minutes including loading, meaning you can get around about 350,000 credits per hour from Earth, or 640,000 credits per hour from Pluto. These missions are on the low end for credit farms, but are suitable for players with low end gear. I recommend using Cora for these missions, as her Strangle Dome will help keep the excavators alive, as well as giving you power cells faster if you're using the Pilfering Strangle Dome augment. Alternative frames include Limbo, Gara, Octavia, Zephyr, Hydroid. Basically, anyone who can lock down a small location for a couple minutes tops. Players capable of dealing good damage shouldn't be looking at this option though, as there's much better. Next is a disruption mission, Laomedeia on Neptune. This one demands you have some reasonable way of dealing damage, as you need to take down demolishers as typical of disruption. The longer you can go in this mission, the better your credits will be, but ideally you won't be going to your absolute limit each run, as your kill rate will slow down. If you nail all 4 conduits every round, you'll get 30,000 credits from the first 2 rounds, and then 50,000 credits every round thereafter. Except for rounds 1 and 3, if you lose 1 conduit, you don't actually lose any credits due to how the rewards are given out. So for that reason, you always want to be setting off conduits as fast as you can, doing multiple conduits at once, so long as you let through no more than 1 demolisher per round. I could pretty handily do 9 to 10 rounds without any real issue, and the same was true both for fellow clanmates and a couple random players. With the speed of missions accomplished, this puts soloing the mission around about 940,000 credits per hour. Doing it in a random group, when I ran a random as a 3-man group, we got about 1 million per hour, and a dedicated group of clanmates nailed 1.25 million per hour. With practice, I fully believe a dedicated squad can take that higher, but not by much as you're heavily reliant on the spawns. For this mission, I'd recommend having a solid single target damage option, such as Mesa, Buruk, Mirage or Cora. Now let's say you don't really want to be using your Warframe. That's fine. Let's head over to Railjack. The Railjack mission Gian Point can be farmed for credits quite easily, as it has no secondary objectives. All you have to do is kill fighters and cruise ships. With a solid team, you can do a full mission in under 3 minutes, meaning at most a 4-minute turnaround for each mission, including load times and restocking. Gian Point pays out approximately 89,000 credits per run, meaning you can get about 1.3 to 1.4 million per hour. You do, however, require a few specific things to make this work. You must have at least a 2-man squad. The reason for this is that it's so cumbersome to switch between pilot and forward artillery that you'll end up taking too long and suffering too much damage. You require the Tether avionic. Other options come close to this, but nowhere near as effective as Tether. It's a good idea to have the artillery cheap shot avionic, as that makes the forward artillery sometimes not use a dome charge, and that allows you to nail all 6 cruise ships without needing to use the forge. It's also a good idea to have increased flux capacity to enhance your total uses of Tether before needing to use the forge. And lastly, you must have rank 7 in any of the intrinsics to actually be able to visit this mission. Have you got everything together now? Excellent! The process is quite simple. You use Tether to put a projectile between a whole bunch of fighters, and then shoot it when the projectile is tethering the group. It's effortless with the Photor for being hit scan, but you should be able to use most weapons with a bit of practice. As for cruise ships, line up the shots so the forward artillery gunner can hit the engines, making sure to use a seeker missile first if the cruise ship has its glowing yellow shield raised. In a two-man setup, the pilot should focus on fighters, followed by lining up the cruise ship shots, whilst the artillery gunner should focus on repairs and the forge until it's time to take out the cruise ships. In a three-man, I'd instead suggest the side gunner handle fighters, while the pilot lines up the artillery gunner for shots as soon as possible, with the artillery or side gunner handling forge when they're free to do so. Only one person should be on guns while the tether is being used to ensure no one else accidentally detonates it early, whether that be the pilot or the side gunner doing the tethering. Ensure everyone stays on ship for the quickest extraction, and once you're done, rinse and repeat via the dojo, or stay in space if the forge is able to remake enough material during each run. This method does not work if there is a sentient anomaly at Gian Point, as this will create a secondary objective slowing down the process far too much. All other high level locations always have this issue, and lower level missions simply don't pay out enough credits to be worthwhile as a credit farm, so Gian Point without the sentience is the only option in Railjack. Now while Gian Point isn't the best for credit rewards, it does give you plenty of opportunity to beef up your Railjack, level up warframes and weapons without worrying about the state of your gear, and it allows you to farm those crucial intrinsics. Returning to Terra Firma once more, another credit farming option is the Profit Taker Stage 4 bounty. Unlike most bounties, once unlocked, you can skip straight to Stage 4 every time, allowing you to actually do this farm. Doing this solo is highly advised against, as not only is this a boss fight, it also demands a high selection of damage types available to the player. It can be soloed, but it's far from a good idea to do so. Unlike other credit sources, this one can be boosted significantly through the use of both Chroma's 4th ability, which has a chance to double credit drops, and Smita Kavat, which has the chance to double pickups including credits. Smita Kavat can very rarely double stack the bonus too. So combining these together, you can regularly get double the credits, occasionally quadruple, and rarely octuple the credit reward. Chroma is a very capable frame for handling this mission, though energy management can be an issue. So solo, I managed to get around 600,000 credits per hour, and done in a two-man group with a couple randoms added on, we got about 850,000 credits per hour. With a decent four-man squad, we managed to take this to about 1.1 million per hour. With practice and refinement, I expect this could go higher, though not much more than 1.5 million per hour base. Remember again that Chroma and Smita can increase these results, giving an average potential as high as 3 million per hour if you're smashing it. Even if you don't max out the credit gain, Profit Taker also rewards various extra resources, from debt bonds to system components, and a couple rare Archwing mods. If you want a bit of intensity in your credit farm, as well as some reward variety, this is a great option. And finally, the Index. The Index is probably what most people think of first when it comes to credit farming, and for good reason. You can nail the Index pretty handily with the majority of frames and most meta weaponry. My personal go-to is the Fullman and Wukong combo. With the two combined, I find myself very rarely beaten for kills, and only outdone for points if someone's got a dedicated point harvesting frame like Titania or Korra. Damage type wise, you want Radiation primarily, with Cold as a secondary damage type. Viral proc can also do wonders if you can fit it in without losing overall potential, though the Fullman isn't a proc based weapon so I skip that myself. Melee will also work generally, though I find the Wu clone with Fullman does better than I could ever hoped with melee. Solo, and in a dedicated group, we managed about 2.8 million per hour consistently with Index. However, when I was running with a group of randoms, typically this reduced the rate of the income. This mostly comes from two factors. The first is that random players will typically turn in points somewhat haphazardly, or not at all if they're a Rhino main. And secondly, players splitting up causes spawns to be everywhere. If you have the damage capability, I'd honestly suggest soloing the Index. Personally, I prefer to do 2 rounds of high risk, then extract and repeat. This gives a good mix of credit gain without letting enemy levels get too high and slowing the round down. Feel for yourself what process suits you best though. The Index is almost a pure credit farm, with a side helping of some semi-plentiful gold mods. So that's obviously great if you need credits, but that's all that it brings to the table. So let's quickly summarise then. For the lowest level players, do some excavation on Tikal Earth for 350,000 credits per hour, or Hyricron on Pluto for 640,000 per hour. You should also get about 2,000 cryotic per hour doing that. For players with a knack for disruption, you can bring home about 1 to 1.3 million per hour, but not a lot else. If you have a friend or two to call upon, take to the skies with Gian Point for 1.3 million per hour, as well as intrinsics, various railjack rewards, and the ability to level your gear easily. Alternatively, take those friends to Orb Valis and take on the Prophet Taker. You'll net anywhere from 800,000 to 3 million credits per hour, depending on how good your squad is, all while raking in some rare mods and Fortuna related extras. Or lastly, if you have a solid solo game, smash yourself into the index for a steady 2.8 million per hour, and not really a lot else. If you found this video helpful and want to see more, give it a like, and also if you're new to the channel, subscribe to catch more as I upload it. I also stream Warframe every Wednesday and Sunday over on Twitch, so if you have any questions you can ask me directly there too. For now though, blitz missions, get credits, and fight well, Tenno. Heavy slam? What? Okay, when did the Mausolon become a melee weapon?